We start talking about football.
Share it away.
You hear me okay?
Don't forget to share it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, live from the Ministry League studios in North Georgia, each week with John the Professor Podine and Paul Superman Sperling, and with producer Caleb Sampson behind the glass on the Ministry League Network. And on all your other favorite platforms, here with all your ministry talk and the latest in news and sports. It's the John and Paul Show live.
Welcome to the John and Paul Show, brought to you by Ministry League at ministryleague.com. Everything on social media is at Ministry League. I'm Paul Sperling. With me, as always, is John Podine, and Caleb Sampson is behind the glass, so to speak. It is good to be with you. We have recovered from an Exposure Youth Camp, another successful week. We will talk about that, and we'll talk about Monday night's game. This is the show, John.
Hey, Paul, I hope that you are it's good to see you because I haven't got to see you. It's been, oh, man, when did we end Exposure? About 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Week and a half ago?
Thursday morning we saw each other.
Yeah, something like that. But
Hello.
so, it's and then when we left Exposure, it was nice and warm. And this morning we woke up and it's like 25 degrees.
It is. It's cold. It's cold in the outbuilding. I will say that.
It is a little chilly. It is a little chilly. I know that. And but it is good that we are here, that we can kind of come back and talk about Exposure Youth Camp, the great week we've had out there, everything that we've been hearing since, with people who making their decision to follow Jesus and everything else. So it's been a great start. Chris has already started. I figure Chris and Paul will have a great discussion here in a few minutes, getting into the national championship game going on. But are you recovered, Paul?
Yes, I'm good. 100%. Really good. Having a good week.
Well, good. I am glad that you are.
Thank you.
And so what's up, guys? Yeah. Yes, it is interesting with everything.
It's a good week. We've had some folks. I want to start out by a big shout out to my Piedmont Road family. The way that they support me and the things that I do and the things that we do, because we have a lot of folks at Piedmont Road that is very supportive in coming and being part of the Exposure Youth Camp and Ministry League and things we do. It's just really neat, and love being a part of that congregation, and just really thank you for all that they do for us. And we got a few that are a little under the weather right now, and so we pray for them to continue to recuperate and see them hopefully, I guess in 2 days on Sunday.
Yeah, being under weather kind of keeps you away from people that you care about and want to see and everything. But we're glad everybody's doing better.
For sure, absolutely.
Now I saw that Jackson just threw that in there. He said, "Go Vols! Next year will be our year." Jackson, they have been saying that for
decade,
since 2001. Is that right? I guess that's the last year, 2001, 2002.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, Jake, my peeps. Well, Paul, we do want to kind of get in and talk about exposure. We want to give an update to everybody of how it went on, talk about next year, just kind of a little bit and all that. And then we're going to spend some time talking about the national championship game. You know, this kind of exposure kind of kicks off the busy season with us and the things that we do with the various youth rallies and stuff that we participate in. So, kind of give us your overall view. Hey, Colin, we're praying for you, by the way, brother. Hope things are going well for you. Give your overall view of how exposure went this year, and because we really didn't expect it to turn out like it did.
So last year, right in the middle of the 2020 COVID situation, we expected, 600-700. We ended up with 1,000. And this year at September, let me stop just for a second. Somebody's volume is up somewhere, and I hear myself echo.
I'm not sure who's coming back with that.
Okay. I think somebody fixed it. Thank you. So we had 1,000 last year. This year, around September time, or when registration opened, about, I would say, we opened October 15. By November 1st, November 2nd or 3rd, we were at 2,000 people. So we were very open and honest with folks on our numbers and excited. Ended up with about 2,650. And, we realized that there's still stuff going on. There's still, illnesses and things that viruses that are happening. But, John, we can't stop living. We got to have an opportunity to do stuff. And so we're back, and all in all, it went really well. The worship was great. The speakers were great. Really thankful for the guys and what they brought. Brandon, thank you so much for watching us today and being a part of this today. And Brandon's class was phenomenal.
I know. Brandon, you should know that the everything we keep getting back on feedback, almost every other comment, Brandon Edwards' class was the greatest in the world.
Brandon Edwards' class is trending. With Exposure Youth Camp.
Yes.
Frodo's team time is also trending.
Yep.
So you should know, Frodo, you got some high marks as far as kids that were in your team. So we hear this stuff. We care about this stuff. And team time and team leaders, y'all are you're the heartbeat of what we do, why we do it. And so we're so thankful to those of you that do that, and very thankful for the humility that Brandon is kind of.
Johnny. Yes, baseball season needs to hurry. We got to get the owners and we got to get the players back together so they can get this lockout finished before pitchers and catchers are supposed to return. And plus, baseball season means it's a lot warmer than what it is today. Huh?
I said, Johnny, thank you for being with us.
Oh yeah, but Paul, it did turn out. We'll be giving out some numbers in the coming days and things like this. That it was. We were probably expecting. We always take. We always make our guesses, and I think I lowballed it like at 1,600 something, and you went up to what
2180
something.
I think something like that.
Yeah. And so we didn't expect this, and it just kept coming, and it kept coming, and kept coming, and so, honestly, it's even kind of hard to plan for it when it kind of goes this way.
It does. Needing more team leaders last minute, and not even last minute, but making adjustments. Luckily, we have a long list of a lot of talented guys that come and girls that come to Exposure Youth Camp to come speak and teach and be a part of things. So we had a good gene pool, a good pool of people that can come in and do some stuff for us. So we're really excited about all that.
Yeah, Johnny, I got to see all 7 of your grandkids all at once running into it and stuff. And so we're glad that they enjoyed it. And that seems to be the sentiment, Paul, is that, these last 2 years has been nuts. It's been crazy. And just to kind of get some semblance of normalcy, what was honestly just refreshing.
It was. And, we did have some COVID restrictions and things people needed to do and prepare for this with the temperature checks coming in. If you didn't get your temperature check, then shame on your youth minister or group leader. But we did the best we could with that. We recommended masks. And so folks were wearing them, and nobody made them feel bad about it. But it, it was one of those things, and we just really appreciate everybody for following along with it and being part of it. The excitement was in the air, John, and everybody just really they loved it. They loved being together. They loved, like I said, the worship sessions and just the time to be together, both morning and evening. And so it was really neat to be back in Huntsville to do Exposure Youth Camp the way it was meant to be done.
Yeah, and we got to have a good time. We had there's been over 20 plus baptisms that have been directly connected to Exposure this year with people that were baptized while they were there, people when they got home that made the decision to follow Christ. We had what did Dale write down there? It was like 80-90%
prayers requests. So
prayer requests. Yeah.
So it was good.
So it was just, and being able to get to see like Johnny mentioned in his 7 grandkids, got to see their moms and dads and everything else. And so it was just kind of awesome to get to kind of see people that we really haven't got to see in a year. And just to be able to get the whole theme of what we're talking about. Because guess here's the thing, Paul, all of us are going to have a story to tell after this pandemic finally ends. I mean, we'll be able to tell our grandkids and great grandkids, I remember back in the day when we had to wear masks all the time.
Is that what you're going to sound like when you have grandkids?
No, my plan is if I ever have grandkids to not that Caitlin or Chris are getting married anytime soon, especially Caitlin, but I think I'm going to change my voice every time that one of them comes in.
That's awesome. Speaking of daughters, I've got to stop for a minute and do a shout out. Today is Lainey's 14th birthday. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness, I know.
So you measure how long Exposure's been going on by Lainey's. by Caitlin's birth. I actually measure my time on the board by Lainey's time on the in life, and so because Stephanie was pregnant that first year we were on the board.
She was.
So it's 14 years now, so it's pretty crazy.
Oh man, storyteller theme created new avenues and stories to tell future. Absolutely. And it was just everything just tied in, just really tied in together.
It really did. And I know I've said this a few times, but it really went back to what happened in 2019 with the opportunity I had and Brandon invited me to come and help with the story conference in Nashville, which I think is going to be back this next year, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I believe he showed me it was coming back.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. And the fact that the event belongs to Harris III, who is the illusionist, who we actually use in our entertainment. And it was on point. It was perfect and everything. It flowed for a reason because it kind of theme had happened before in a secular way. And I thought in talking with both Brandon and Frodo and Keith O'Neill and guys like that we worked together on that it was great. This is so cool. This is such a neat thing. But what if we had it on a spiritual level and everybody's like, yeah, that'd be kind of neat. So I thought, let's do it. Let's make that happen. So it followed right in after the Anchor year last year.
Well, and the thing is, and with Harris coming in and doing, he got to do his illusion and what his show just tied so well and everything. But there's kind of one thing with the story conference and kind of what he was saying within his thing is to not lose that magic, not lose that dream, which is kind of why it's taking directly into our theme for next year. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but you will see, and we do this a lot with Exposure, is we will take, a 2, 3, 4 year period and we'll build off of each other. And that's why we're kind of building for this next year of everything, because it begins with your story, it begins with my story, it begins with the story and reaching out and telling people the story about Jesus Christ.
That's absolutely right. It was really, and he made a lot of analogies with the straitjacket, things like that. Don't bear you down. Don't let them weigh you down too much. There's something stronger and greater that's helping you, and it's there for you, and that's our Lord Jesus. And so it was really, really awesome. And I couldn't have asked for I think aside from some illnesses that have transpired, and not many, but some, I think this is probably one of the best exposure youth camps we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Thematically speaking, number wise, just things we were able to do. And so those were really exciting, which, like you said, kind of brings us into what's going to happen next year with a different kind of entertainment, back to something everybody's used to, and also a theme that takes a storyteller to the next level.
Well, and that's the thing. And I like how Brandon has it kind of listed right there when it says it takes it from the magical to the wonder. And there's so many things that we get so busy in our life that we become so methodical, Paul, with everything that we do. We're like checklist society. We become a checklist religion if we're not careful because of it. And so the mindset is, let's dream again. Let's dream big. You got people in the Bible that had dreams, and we're going to be talking about some of those things, but we can still dream today. Sometimes we stunt our growth because we don't dream big enough.
Right.
We don't dream big enough. And I go back to this, and you and I talked about this, I guess, was it last week we were talking about this?
Probably.
Probably. This is our 25th year coming up.
I know.
This will be our 25th anniversary of exposure.
Still ready.
And in 1998, when the guys got together and worked on forming and having this dream, I don't think any of us and them, and when we're all sitting here talking, thought it would ever be something like this. But the dream was realized, and it was expanded, and we're still dreaming today.
I think originally, and you have probably Ryan Frederick, I think is the one that still comes and is a part of it, which is so awesome to see him exposure. I just love Ryan so much. But what they had in mind, I think, was about the fact that we need something for our kids after Christmas. They're sitting at the house doing nothing. What are we going to do? And so let's have an event. Let's have like a retreat kind of thing. Let's do it big. And when we hit 700, we felt like it was big.
Yeah.
And it's not about the numbers, but people are gravitating towards Bible study. They're gravitating towards meeting other Christians. We had people from New York State, from Oklahoma, Nebraska, Texas, all the way down to Florida, and everywhere in between. And it's just it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
The unity that's created, and not just a one and done. This is awesome. Boy, I can't wait till next year. That makes it worth it. For sure.
And that's why I like what Brandon says is here. Imagine if we dream so big that the only way that they could come true is if God was part of it. That's a dream worth having. And that's kind of what we want to push for next year is let's having those dreams, having those things. Frodo says, what's something you're not doing, you want to do, especially you couldn't fail. Then how can we do it with God? With God, we can do things that we can't imagine. And that's kind of faith. And I think that's kind of where we're going to push with it, Paul, is, we're still got to, we're still in the beginning phases of drawing this up and unwrapping it of what it's exactly going to look like in there. But that is, we all have this faith and these dreams.
And when you think about Dreamer for next year, and by the way, time out, Ben and Travis, we have no trouble dealing with y'all.
That's right.
I mean,
we love some Ben and Travis. I will see you, Travis, next week.
Yeah. So it's awesome. Thank y'all for being part of it. When you think of Dreamer, don't think necessarily of Joseph.
Right.
And interpreting dreams. Think about goals in your life. Think about things that you feel like maybe you can't reach, but if you try, you're going to get there. Set attainable goals, but also things to reach for. And that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to an opportunity to take your potential to the next level, because that's where God wants it to be.
That's the whole thing, Paul. When you think of those great people, that we have in our country, to me, you think of Tim Cook, your Steve Jobs. Mm-hmm. Who's Microsoft's dude? How come I just totally lost his
Bill Gates
thing? Bill Gates. So in particular, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they thought both of those were wacky, especially Steve Jobs. And look at what it's turned into.
Mm-hmm.
Apple. Microsoft and how it's just going and how everything is run. I mean, they said the same thing about Jeff Bezos. Okay, well, yeah, what he did with Amazon. Who would ever thought that Amazon would have taken off, and now he literally takes off in Blue Origin. But Tony Stark, Paul. I mean, I'm just kidding. I was supposed to see it if you were listening.
I'm listening.
But that's what all those people started with dreams, and that's why that we could.
You're back. You were gone for a quick minute. My big thing with Tony Stark was the fact that he told everybody that he was Iron Man. I never understood that. I don't know why he went there. That changed everything.
Sorry.
But the point is, people that have done crazy, awesome things that had a ceiling and went beyond the ceiling in their goals and what they wanted to strive for. That if you set a level,
I lost you.
If you set a level, I don't know where John is right now, but if you set a level for where you want to be, you'll meet that level. But we need to go through it. We need to go higher. We need to do more and dream bigger when it comes to that thing. How can I put myself right in the middle? So do I do my inner John right here, and then there's my inner Paul over here. So that's kind of where we are on the dreamer thing. We were excited about it. There's a video for it. If you go to our Facebook page, I believe it's on Facebook on at Expo Camp, go to that. One thing I want to mention too, for those of you who do not like a lot of typing, in finding us on the internet as far as Exposure Youth Camp goes, our URL has always been here lately anyway, exposureyouthcamp.com, and that's not it anymore. I mean, you can still use that if you want. We are at we're at EYC.camp. So EYC.camp is now where you can find us on the internet, and our website is we'll continue to update. It's not updated yet, but we're working on it. And got a board meeting on the 20th of January, and so we're already getting ready to sign more contracts and to get back into it and bring everybody together and start working on what goes with that.
Yeah.
Hey,
good to see you back. Yes.
Welcome back, Joe.
Yeah. Well, have you shown the video yet for next year?
Not yet.
Okay. I didn't know if we were at that point in the show.
We can if Caleb's ready. One other thing that I will mention too is that entertainment is already set up for next year, and so we're excited about that.
Oh, it is, huh?
It is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lives on the new hotel across the street.
So we're going to have now 3 hotels that will be directly neighbors with the Von Braun Center. And so we'll treat them as such. And that is the Spring Hill Suites, the Embassy Suites, and the Hampton Inn, and which is directly across the street. And so the draft will probably have to do with all 3 of those. Specifically Hampton. I would start at Hampton, then Embassy, and then to the Spring Hill, and then on to the other ones. So that puts us a lot closer to the Von Braun Center, and so we're excited about that. And so a lot of cool things going on with it, John.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of cool things. It's going to be a headache with registration, but it's going to be a lot of cool things.
Oh, don't worry. You don't have to worry about that headache.
Yeah, well, because we're going to have a nice discussion about that one coming up.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
I'm sure. But, yeah, Caleb, why don't you go ahead, since we've been talking about dreaming and everything like this. I'm fine with being drafted with number 199, the GOAT. Tom Brady, buddy. Brandon Edwards is definitely not our Tom Brady. He is our Joe Montana.
I'd put that higher for sure.
Yeah. So, Caleb, why don't you go ahead and play, since we've been talking about this, so everybody gets a chance to see Dreamer.
Why not? Pictures, psychedelic.
Yeah, no sound and it's buffering. Yeah,
I don't know
for some
how.
reason it's not playing in there.
Okay,
I just got a text. Somebody said I like the video better this way.
oh, I do too, actually. Yeah. So John, we got some stuff going on Monday, and you brought it up.
Paul.
You brought it up, and so maybe we should talk about that a little bit.
There is something going on Monday. The national championship game are the two teams playing in it that you did not expect?
Oh, the two teams playing in it is exactly who I expected.
Exactly. You know, Cincinnati and Michigan were formality. Before we get into the game, Paul, let's ask about Alabama's just workmanship coming into business as usual against Cincinnati. Did what they had to do. Didn't have to light up anything. Just basically went and said, "You're a G5 school. We'll be nice to you. Get you through this game. We won't injure you, and we're going to play the big game." You know, tell me about that game first and foremost.
So, John, what Alabama did is show their A game performance. It was very vanilla. It was run, and they threw occasionally. When they did, it mattered, and to show they can. They were without John Mechie, and will continue to be against Georgia. But if you remember, Alabama only had one highfalutin wide receiver in each half against Georgia the last time too. So with Williams being out the first part of the half because of the target against Auburn, and then back to this, but we're not to that yet. We're talking about Cincinnati. The game was, they didn't show much, and the only thing they really truly showed was that Brian Robinson is completely healthy, and he's a workhorse, and he's proven himself. He's really increasing his draft status by each play, by coming close to breaking the deal on the rushing numbers against Cincinnati with over 200 yards rushing, and he needed that time off, and it showed, and they did great. They did great, and I think they're going to be ready. Cincinnati did what Cincinnati had to do to get there. They were undefeated. Their schedule wasn't very strong. And to be fair, right, Michigan's wasn't very strong. They played well against Ohio State, and obviously they had to, but they weren't playing the caliber of defenses that both Georgia and Alabama played. And so that's kind of where we are right here.
Well, just having those players, I'm thinking about two defensive players that played last week. Will Anderson for Alabama, and then what's his face? I just lost his name. No, the guy from Michigan that's supposed to be predicted to go number one. Hutchinson. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I don't think he personally deserved to be second in the Heisman Trophy decision, but
I don't think
he didn't really make that big of an impact.
No,
for Michigan and against Georgia, and yet here's Will Anderson. Say, for instance, last time they played Georgia, and he's making an impact. He's making a statement and all of these things. And I think that's what you're seeing, and what you just said is the defenses. the same thing with Georgia with Jordan Davis. When you got like a 400-pound defensive lineman that's running like a 4.2, I know he's not that fast, but it sure looks like it when he's that big out there and he's chasing down running backs from behind.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, these are Big Ten running backs from behind. Yeah, guess what? They got some major defenses going on.
Well, both Michigan and especially Cincinnati, they just didn't play the schedules that the SEC offers. They just don't.
And I know people accuse us of being SEC homers, Paul, when we talk about this, but it just seems to rear itself every single year.
Yeah, you can make it 4, 8, 12. I still think you end up with a couple of SEC teams at the end.
Yeah, I think you would. Now, what would A&M? Of course, A&M had dealt with COVID. What would LSU was not, but some of those other teams. Oh, it's good to see you too, Connie. I'm still alive, so yeah, we're still kicking here. And I don't know. I think you're right. If they expand this out to 6 to 8 to 12, whatever they're talking about, I still think you're going to get down to a point where you're going to have 2, 3 SEC teams in those final 4 to 6. I mean, I think it's just what's going to happen.
Well,
LSU would get destroyed. Is that with your new coach? Is that with your new coach there?
Well, that's because of half the team's gone, decimated.
Yeah.
It is what
and that's something for us to talk about here. All the opt-outs and everything else, it does kind of bother me with bowls, but you can't blame them. But then you just don't want to watch the bowls.
NIL has changed everything, and there's no way to go back. There's just not.
No. We've opened Pandora's box. So were you surprised at Georgia, Michigan?
Not really. I was a little relieved because I didn't want to see Harbaugh in the final game. I mean, I felt like we could destroy them. I really do because I think they didn't play. I mean, they played well, but they played what I felt like was lesser defenses. And so, and you look at that, and I'm looking at schedules. I even looked at who Georgia has played this year versus who Alabama has played this year. And it is similar, I guess, but you still have different kinds of defenses in the West than you do the East. So it just depends on schedule and what's going on. And it is what it is. I'd much rather, if Alabama can't win it, I'd much rather it be Georgia than Michigan or Cincinnati for sure.
Well, and I'll tell you that I expected Michigan to put up a better game. I did not see the domination. I was happy to see the domination because it shuts up Big Ten people, shuts up ACC people, it shuts up Big 12 people. Really? Because, look, SEC, was it top-heavy this year? Yes, it was extremely top-heavy this year. I mean, let's not – when you have LSU and Florida and Auburn and your bigger programs that are used to being up there petering out, yes, very top-heavy. 41 bowl games with 82 spots available for 130 teams, not including college football players. There are 130 teams in FBS. This is the problem. Absolutely.
We live in a world of participation trophies, and they want every chance. And the players from the lower-tier teams that are sitting in games, why would they want to hurt themselves? We go back to the Matt Corral situation. I appreciate his comment that I came here to play with these guys. I'm going to play all the way, and I do appreciate that.
John just has to mention Florida.
He actually had that, I don't think. But
I did today.
So
I did today. I did just a second ago because I was saying that those top tier teams, Paul, for this year within the SEC weren't there. You had Alabama, Georgia. You had A&M around for a little bit. And then who else? I mean,
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss
Pretty strong.
Kentucky, maybe. But you see what I'm saying? There became a huge drop off. So SEC was top heavy, but to see that the way that they demolished Michigan, I was like, Thank you. You know,
But when you have strength going against strength, SEC against SEC, you just assume, well, they're just not good. No, you're just actually playing really good competition, and that's kind of what it comes down to. When you play each other every week, and it's tough. It's tough. Georgia did something that's incredible. It's tough to go undefeated in the SEC season. It's tough, and I gotta be honest, I was happily surprised,
right, Connie,
when I saw Alabama handle Georgia the way that they did. And so I know that's going to lead into probably the next question. I don't know that a team can do that twice. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying they won't. It's tough. It's really tough.
Well, I will say this. If I'm an Alabama fan, where I am concerned is Kirby Smart pulled a Nick Saban on the sideline at the end of the game, turned around, don't you dare get me with Gatorade. We're not done yet.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And that tells me those boys are locked in, ready for this next.
What that tells you is that Kirby Smart wants to send a message to his players that this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't need motivation to show up against Alabama on Monday night. They shouldn't.
Oh, absolutely not.
There's a few positions where it's not even close. Stetson Bennett is nowhere near what Bryce Young is. This is not. Sorry, but the D line for Georgia, I would definitely put over Alabama's. Even though you got Will Anderson in there that actually plays every position when you think about it, and so it's one of those things. Pickens, I'm not quite sure that he's 100%, but he may be. Maybe they're holding out. I don't know. The question on Alabama, they got Owens, and they got two offensive linemen that showed up hurt at the end of the Cincinnati game, and Saban said nothing about it. What that means is somebody's hurt. Okay, they may both not be hurt, and I think they're both practicing this week, but something's different, and they're going to have to make some adjustments, and they made adjustments the last time. So I'm not saying it's a no-brainer to Alabama. I'm not saying that at all, because that's just not the case. I think it's going to be a closer, harder-fought game on both sides. I really do.
I completely agree, and I love that Brandon had to throw in FSU there to keep relevant. Yes, Brandon, we'll do the obligatory FSU comment in our show. And there it was. Yeah, there it was. But I agree with you, Paul. And you and I, when we talked about it, I look at this game as a very even. I know that where is Vegas? Vegas has them listed at 3-point favorite. Georgia's a 3-point favorite going into the game. I told you I favor Alabama by like 2 in this game. I think the question, and I told you for Alabama, it's not the defense. It is, well, there would be on one side for the defense is the cornerback.
I want to speak to that Bowers comment. I was not aware if he's hurt.
Which one is he, Paul?
Bowers is the tight end for Georgia. And Alabama.
Yeah.
He had like 164 yards receiving. And Stetson Bennett threw it to him. Every time he threw it to him, the guy's going to catch the ball. He's about 7 foot tall, and you can't stop him. But if he doesn't play, seriously,
yes,
I almost lean a different direction if that's the case. Not a different direction, but more.
Well, I will say this: I think you got some major injuries. Who is the cornerback for Alabama that's hurt? Struggled playing, could not change direction against. Or maybe that's Georgia I'm thinking of.
I think we're good. Okay.
You know which one I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about, right?
What, Battles?
Is that it? I think that's it. He was struggling because of an injury.
And Joe got because of that. He was pretty awesome for us.
Yeah.
Last couple of games.
Well, I think it is going to come down to, can Georgia's blitz get home? They won't set back this time. No, I think they're coming after it. I think on defense, Georgia's going to live and die. They're going to come after and try to get Bryce Young because look, the Auburn and Georgia game gave Bryce Young the Heisman Trophy.
No
And I
doubt.
think they want to come back and be like, oh heck no, we ain't gonna let this happen again.
But why in the world did Georgia allow the spread that it was? The game was over at the beginning part of the third quarter.
Yep,
So
it
was. I just don't understand that.
I hope nobody players are opting out in this game.
No.
They are. And they
No.
give all the money back to their respective universities.
Who's opting out in this game?
Better not be.
Nobody from Alabama is. I'll tell you that right now.
My concern for Alabama is what I told you the other day, Paul, is you need that third receiver to step up and be there. You got Bolden taking over for Mechie, even though that's a huge difference, but Bolden's a very good possession receiver. Jameson Williams really didn't get let up top. Of course, he didn't have to against Cincinnati, but you need that third receiver. They do have that third receiver in the guy that especially led them back against Auburn and really showed up in that drive.
Yeah, Chris Brooks. Brooks is awesome.
Going to need him to step up. I don't think
sitting on the bench. He's been in the doghouse with Saban all year long, but he's never been as good as Mechie was, and he's a freshman. So there are people like you said. Alabama may have to bring out some people that they're not familiar with, and maybe that's what they were doing against Cincinnati. Like I said, they showed basically an A-Day performance.
Yeah, they did.
And throw a little bit, and
And on Georgia's side, sorry for Chris and Landon. I'm still not sold on Stetson Bennett being able to deliver the national championship. And that's still look, he played out of his mind last week against Michigan.
Yeah.
He threw the ball up. I was like, oh my word. He has the guts of steel. Don't get me wrong.
Now Jerry Young's making a really good point there with Billingsley. Latu had some receptions last week.
Billingsley stepped up.
But we haven't really penetrated with the tight ends as strong as we probably could. And I think he's right. I think this is the game that happens. It's all on the table. It's the natty. It's all on the table. We're going to see a lot of things we've never seen before from both sides, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. What I don't want to see, even though it ended well for us, I do not want to see an overtime situation. I'd like to see this game in regulation. That's crazy. Plus, it doesn't work too well for Georgia that anyway. So.
Yeah, Landon says I don't think he will either if we win because of our defense, and Stetson does that. I agree. I mean, I hate to say that. I agree. They come with it. You got to give the man credit. I mean, he takes – everybody's calling for JT Daniels to get back in and to take a shot, but he's led him to this point. You got to let him have it and let him run with it. So I'm curious. I mean, I would say right now, Paul, I lean probably like I told you the other day when we were talking, I'm still leaning like about a 2-point favorite to Alabama is where I would lean at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, my heart will never let me pick against Alabama, even in 2007 when we lost to pitiful teams. But here we are in the national championship game against Georgia. We've won 7 in a row.
Is that when y'all lost to ULM?
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I was in the end zone game.
Were you really?
End zone that very game. It was awful.
Oh man,
like
that was in the middle of.
Is this guy really worth it? No, I don't know.
That was in the middle of Tim Tebow's Heisman Trophy year.
Yeah.
And of course, at that point, I was sitting there thinking, "Oh, good, they Alabama didn't get anybody." Yeah, little did we know.
We had to give him one, so he got that one.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. That's funny.
When they lost, I still remember that when they lost to Louisiana Monroe. I was like, then Florida's lost to Georgia Southern, so I can't say anything either.
I can see us winning it by a field goal, and because our kicking game has been. Riker was perfect last year, and this year I think he's missed 2 or 3. And I think it's going to come down to that field goal game, but I really think that they'll do well with it. I am an Alabama fan. I'm going to pick Alabama, but I wouldn't pick them by much. I think both teams are going to play really hard. I really think this will be – I'd like to think this will be one of the best games of the year. I do not think it's a blowout. I do not think it's a repeat from SEC championship game. I really think both are bringing everything, and it's going to be well worth the watch for sure.
Frodo. Oh, that's the year. Oh man, I remember that game, Frodo. That's the year that was at Les Miles went for it on five fourth downs and got every single one of them. That was one of the hardest hitting games that I remember.
He should grasp that game and any time in his career, I'm sure.
Oh, I remember that. That was after I think he was getting all the cell phone. Do you remember that, Paul, when he was getting all the cell phone?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
So he goes to the end zone and starts dialing up or whatever. I look at this as Alabama 27, Georgia 25, something like that. I really watch the national. I don't know if I can watch a national championship game with Paul when Alabama's involved in it.
I'll go to Indianapolis.
Oh, absolutely! Let's do it. We'll do the John and Paul show from there.
I love that.
We can be like the Peyton and Eli of the Churches of Christ podcasting network.
Good. That'd be great.
Oh man, that would be awesome. But I think Alabama wins by 2. I think it is a game of misses on special teams. I think it's a game of defense. It is a game that's hard hitting. You see people with targeting in this game. I think this is going to be no holds barred. Georgia's about business. Alabama's about business. And
Quick slants and laterals. That's how we're going to start it. We're not going to make our offensive line work too hard at the beginning like they did last game. And I think we're going to utilize the tight end a lot more. And B-Rob will be running as wide open as they'll let him. So we'll see what happens.
As they can, yeah. Like Chris, I'm picking Alabama with my picks this year. Georgia should win. He's doing reverse psychology. It's almost like, hey, no, we don't want Coach Corso to pick us. Oh, okay. Sitting in the Texas section when the bells went silent. Oh, is that when Alabama played Texas in the Rose Bowl?
Colt McCoy went down after, I think, the first series. That was
tickets tough. Are dropping as we speak. Maybe we should go, Paul. Let's go to Indianapolis.
I don't even know. It's as neutral a location as it can be.
It is. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'd rather it get as far away from Georgia as possible. I mean, because I think Alabama doesn't care about location. I think Georgia sometimes needs it. One of the things we haven't discussed yet, I'm a little worried about because I like Kirby Smart a lot. What's going to happen if Alabama does win this game? I mean, what does he have to turn to? His defense is, I'm 30 years younger than Nick Saban. One day we'll play and he won't be there. Is that the defense you go with? Because is there anybody better you want to bring to Georgia, or is he the X factor? Is he the one?
To me, if you want to be the best, the old adage: if you want to be the best, you beat the best.
That's true.
And these coaches have there's an arrogance and a swagger about them to be able to go out and beat them. And I think every single one of the people that go up against Nick Saban really, really, really go after him. Atlanta's been like Alabama's second home of the last 10 years with everything. The only thing that I understand what they're doing in college football. I completely get that. But let's take two teams like Alabama and Georgia right now. And yeah, Indianapolis isn't too bad. It's not too far away. But let's say it was in the Rose Bowl. So you got people all the way on the other side of the country, got to go to the other side of the country to go watch the game. And that's the one probably negative side about this, of having these neutral site things like this going on. But I understand.
That everybody's got to make their money. I wish the teams in it could work together to decide where this is going to be. That'd be awesome. But if that's the case, it'd be in Atlanta every single year, or it'd be Miami every single year. It'd be in New Orleans every single year, because it's closer to where the SEC is. Sorry, it just is what it is. And then Rose Bowl would never get love. Indianapolis would never get love. Arizona.
You're right.
Fiesta Bowl would never, but it is what it is.
You all right? They travel and live everywhere.
Yeah,
They do travel. I gotta give them that. They do travel. I was kind of shocked to see that many people out there at the Cotton Bowl. Well, wasn't technically in the Cotton Bowl. It was in Jerry's World, but
that's true.
Yeah.
It was called.
But yeah. So, well, Paul, I guess we'll figure out and watch it Sunday or Monday night to see who pulls it off. Man, I got class Monday night. That's gonna stink.
That is gonna stink.
I'm gonna have to have my. If we ever play in Pasadena again, I must go. You need to, Travis.
Pasadena, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So if Florida ever makes it back to that game again, I will go.
We have shared a lot of things with you about Exposure Youth Camp. We appreciate y'all for watching, for being part of this. Do us a favor, hit share, and share this where you can, where we can get people to be a part of this and anything else going on with Ministry League and Exposure Youth Camp. That's at Ministry League all over social media and Expo Camp. So let us know what we can do to help. Send us an email at either John, Jon, or Paul, Paul, at ministryleague.com. We appreciate you for watching. We appreciate you for being a part of this. Thanks to Caleb for producing this. Happy New Year to you, and roll tide. And have a